what we must do with a team that average 51 supporters per game. We're playing Sundowns. At Dobsonville Stadium. We averaged almost 51 supporters. We're playing Pirates at Dobsonville Stadium. We're averaging almost 70 or so supporters. And of those supporters, almost half probably got those tickets free.
This is Sports Not Amplified with Andile on the Mighty Metro. Thank you so much for choosing us. It's, listen, it's a thing we've been talking about for a while. It's finally happening, and it seems the deal to sell Moroka Swallows is almost through. It's almost a done deal that Moroka Swallows will be sold by the time next season begins. There was a sitting of the PSL yesterday. Was it yesterday, Timmy? And in that sitting, it will be decided. The NSL, the PSL will decide if they are okaying the deal that has been put forward for Moroka Swallows to be sold to Dr. Abraham Sello. So that's how it stands at the moment. So what is the complication with this? Well, the complication with this is, as soon as these news came out that Moroka Swallows is for sale, it'll get sold, a couple of people came out and said, Andile, how is this team getting sold when we are part owners of the team and we have no idea that the team is getting sold? I said, what do you mean? We know where the team is owned. They said, no, Andile, we own shares in the company. We own percentage in the company that is Moroka Swallows. Yet we have not been consulted, nor has anybody told us anything about the sale of Moroka Swallows. I said, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Give me some things, let me look into it, and let's have the conversation. So we will be having that conversation. Moroka Swallows, a chairperson, was contacted, and we did let him know that he's more than welcome to come on, Dr. David Mukhashwa, at any point that he wants to come on and clarify whatever it is that the guys that are aggrieved may need clarity on. People that claim to be shareholders of Moroka Swallows claim that they bought into Moroka Swallows, they paid money, and therefore were given shares of the company, of the team, are feeling aggrieved. We've got them in studio. Chulani Mayekiso, Moroka Swallows supporter and shareholder. Jabulani Msimang, Swallows FC supporter as well as a shareholder, representing an aggrieved group of guys that all claim they're shareholders. We're going to hear their story here today. And then we'll go to Omar Katugba, because as you know, the Euros are currently underway with Germany and Hungary in action right now. The score at the moment after 10 minutes of football is 0-0. There was a game that was played a little bit earlier on, and it ended 2-2. That was Croatia versus Albania. 2-2 is how that ended. And in the playoffs, the PSL promotion playoffs, Richards Bay will remain in the DStv Premiership after Tuks failed to do so in their last game against Richards Bay. It was up to Moroka now to do Tuks a favor or themselves a favor by beating Richards Bay by 2 goals or more. They weren't able to do so. It ended up being day and light. 4-0 is how it ended. 4-0, a great one from Tsundwana to open in the 37th minute. In the 37th minute, he scored a brace in the 62nd. Barnes, who's leaving the team, said goodbye with a goal in the 43rd, and Mabuya in the 85th minute. 4-0 is how it ended. So it's back to the Motsepe Foundation Championship for Moroka, and it's back to the DStv Premiership for Richards Bay. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the story and understanding. Go to sabcsport.com. Mazalo Molefe has written a brilliant article on the sale of Moroka Swallows. But can you sell a team when you have not consulted all the shareholders? If everybody who owns some sort of percentage into the team does not know about the sale, can that sale still go on? Let's find out. It's 13 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. Omar Katugba is going to be joining us towards the end of the show, because Nigeria don't have a coach at the moment. The qualifiers, of course, as far as this year is concerned, done for now, but they need to regroup. There's still 6 matches to play, 18 points to get. Nigeria can still qualify for the World Cup, although they're behind teams like South Africa, even Lesotho, way behind what they've been able to do there. But they can still qualify. They do need a new coach. What is Nigeria and Nigerians, how do they feel about, the prospect of maybe a coach Beetle? I'd love to hear from Omar Katugba, so he's going to be joining us in a bit there. But the big story that we're talking about at the moment is, it seems the deal to sell Moroka Swallows is almost through. Story done by Mazara Molefe on sabcsport.com. The heading, the pending sale of Moroka Swallows is now up to the Premier Soccer League Executive Committee, as SABC Sport has established. The report by public broadcaster last week that there is going to be a sale now seems to have presented themselves to the DStv Premiership or to the PSL. Sillo, Dr. Abraham Sillo, that is, who owns Marumo Gallants, while Kadodia, also who owns Maritzburg United, were seen as the ones that wanted to buy in. But it seems Abraham Sillo is the man that will go through. They sat and they spoke. David Mokhashra, the asking price in the region of 40 million rand. That's what we're talking about. Met with the PSL Executive Committee, and they're going to be waiting in the next coming days to hear if the PSL Executive Committee agree to the sale or not. But it's now in the PSL's hands, and most of these deals go through. Most of these deals, as we know, go through. Swallows have been struggling financially, and I can't see a reality where the PSL say no. But here's the twist. Here's the twist. Thulani Mayekiso, Jabulani Msimang, and a lot more other guys that have contacted us representing a group of aggrieved, according to them, shareholders and part owners of Moroka Swallows, who say, we have no idea. We're reading it in the news, we're hearing about it on your show, Andile, but we don't know of the sale. Joining me in studio right now is Thulani Mayekiso, Moroka Swallows supporter first and shareholder. On the line, we're going to have Jabulani Msimang. I'm not sure if we've got him, but we're getting a hold of him on the line as well. Thulani, welcome.
Thank you, Andile, and thank you to the listeners of the Metro FM and to the aggrieved Swallows supporters in the length and breadth of this country. It's a cold day in hell. It's difficult to swallow. But yeah, it's not over until the fat lazy sings.
Thulani, I can see you're a Swallows supporter. You're wearing the jacket, you're wearing the badges. You're somebody who loves the team, obviously. But how are you a shareholder?
I'm a shareholder because during the Revival Crusade, which was the crowdfunding done by the Premier himself in 2017.
I went to one of those events, I remember.
Yes, I bought a number of shares. If you remember, the one share, or as they called it later, it was referred to as a voting right. It cost something like 350 rands per share. So you would actually buy in tranches of 250 rands, 700 rands, 1,050 rands, and so on. And the numbers would go up. So I'm one of those people who bought at the time. And it, for most of us, including myself, it's not about the money as such, but it was about the concept. The concept that was sold to us by PANYAZA LESUFI. We bought into it, lock, stock, and barrel, and we believed in the dream. And we still believe the dream can work. It's just that we have been thrown under the bus in an unbelievable way.
Do you have any sort of proof? Were you given any sort of share certificate that says you own shares, how many shares you own?
Certainly, and I've shared some of those documents with a number of people that are trying to assist us, including your producer.
Yes, I have seen.
He's got my personal certificate, and I've seen others with certificates. Other people are actually sitting with proof of payment. Others are sitting with nothing. Others have even passed on without their families knowing exactly what the recourse is for them. And here we are today. The club is being sold. Likely.
So how many shares do you own?
Personally?
Yeah.
You have to multiply it 40 by 350 rands in my case. That's how much I invested.
Because I see the certificate here in front of me. This to clarify that so ID numbers listed there. There's a membership number there. Number of votes allocated. It says 40. This is on the 20th of October 2017.
Correct.
Okay.
So in my case, it was 40 times 350 rands. You can work it out yourself. But let me repeat again and say, for me, even if it was 1 million rands, I would have thrown it about at that time because it was about saving Moroka Swallows. And that was top of mind with me at the time. And at the same time, it was also about the logic and the plan that was sold to us by PANYAZA LESUFI, the concept of supporters club ownership, wherein supporters would own a share or shares in the club that they have supported for years.
So now, this is 2017, you buy shares. Team is revived, is bought, the status is bought, it comes back. Have you had any meetings, any conversations? Have you sat around the table? Has there been any communication from the club to its owners between then and now? Have you been part of any meetings? What I'm trying to get at here is, has there been constant communication with you as an owner?
Well, communication in bits and pieces here and there in the past 3 years. I think we've had meetings that were generic meetings. for everybody, supporters. But this subject would be touched on now and again, but no in-depth, kind of analysis and in-depth look into it as to how it will pan out as per all the promises. All the promises that were made are documented. I've got hard copy documents of how the plan was meant to work out. To work out.
At some point, the plan was supposed to start paying you back, I assume?
At some point, yes.
Okay.
But it soon became a sore point. Nobody wanted to touch this subject all of a sudden. And a lot of things happened. And up until then, things actually went really south in the sense that, look, we started vilifying each other. You raise these issues, you become a pet person, and we were literally divided. I mean, I can put it this way, that management literally drove a wedge between the supporters. There were those few favorites who would even at some point be given the bus to travel to Cape Town, to Devon, because they were closer to management. They were singing the management's tune. And those who were actually asking the pertinent questions, where are we going with this? No promises have been actually fulfilled up to so far. And we're not doing anything concrete about this. And it became a plot of one person against another, and the supporters' office, accusing us of plotting to dislodge them. There was a lot of story. And we actually spent our time, energy, and resources fighting for nothing. And that has brought us where we are today, which is very sad.
When did you find out that the team is for sale?
Well,
was this communicated with you? No
one communicated it from me. We got it from the media. We have to thank you guys, because nobody speaks to us within Moroka Swallows setup. I personally last spoke to the president, if he still is the president, Mr. Lesufi, on the 6th of February. And he was on his way to the State of the Nation address the following Thursday, which was the 9th, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm still waiting for his phone call even today, where he said we would actually have a telephone conference, talk about these issues. He would like to avoid any video calling, because these things are sensitive. After no less than 3 reminders from me alone, he has blue-ticked us. He hasn't said anything. The news of the Moroka Swallows being sold came from the media, and that's the only people that we hear. It's deafening silence from the management and the powers that be in Moroka Swallows.
I've got Pauline Mujela as well, who's on the line. We're going to be speaking to her in just a bit, trying to find out and understand, why the aggrieved are aggrieved, because I've got documents in front of me that list the directors, and I don't see any of your names. There has been a goal scored in Germany. Germany leading Hungary by a 1-0 margin. 23 minutes have been played. I'll keep you updated with that score. They're amazing games last night, huh? Turkey, who would have thought? Georgia, what a game. Game of the tournament so far. Portugal and Czech Republic also coming pretty close there. So I'll keep you updated as far as this is concerned. Big story. Moroka Swallows will be sold. It's up to now the PSL Executive Committee to make a decision on the sale to Dr. Abram Selu, who owns Marumo Gallant. And knowing very well that he owns a team with a brand that he'd like to carry on, it does mean that a Moroka Swallows as a brand and a team, something that I know those that got invested in this wanted to save and bring back, will once again go to the doldrums of South African football. I've got with me Chulani Mayekiso, who says, hey, I'm a shareholder at Swallows. I bought shares. I'm hearing for the first time that the team is getting sold through social media, through the media, and through radio. And I'm wondering what's going on. Why has nobody contacted me? He's not alone. Pauline Mojela is also with us, joins us on the phone. Pauline?
Hi, Papa.
Ke teng kae, Pauline?
Ke teng, ke mme.
Mme Pauline o shapo?
Ke right, Papa, wena o jang?
Ke shapo. Mme Pauline, o re botse wena le Swallows le kopana kae?
Nna ke na le history e telele hampe le Moroka Swallows. I was born and brought up more Soweto, in White City in particular. I saw when Swallows was playing at Moroka Stadium, just 3 streets from my home. So I have been the supporter of Moroka Swallows for years. I'm 66 years old now. My children all support Moroka Swallows. My grandchildren support Moroka Swallows. We have a history with this club. And the issue is not about those supporters who bought shares only. The entire support base of Moroka Swallows is heartbroken. We thought when Mokgasha came into power and Kachimori, maybe things were going to be okay, but it seems as if the high blood are not.
But as far as share,
without even being considered.
But Mepolina, if you don't mind me just coming in there, you're a supporter, you love the team, completely understand. Were you one of those that invested in the team? Did you put any money towards it?
Luckily, I didn't.
So then what I want to get at, Mepolin...
When I told my children about it, my children just said to me, Ma, this is too, it's too, there is nothing of the sort, so don't. If we want to buy shares, we will buy shares ourselves, because we are also supporters of Moroka Swallows.
What I'm trying to get at, when I'm Mepolin, is we wanted to give you, as the fans, a voice, but we also wanted to be realistic. You've seen the struggle of Moroka Swallows financially so over the years. You've seen the amount of monies that has been needed, and I've got a document here that was sent to the shareholders as well, where you get told about how many millions it takes to run this team. So as a supporter, not at any point did any of the supporters assist or help Mukhashwa or whoever it is that was in charge at the time. It could be Andile Lesufi here as well, the premier. Not at any point did they assist when the team was struggling financially. It can't be that as fans we come out to complain when the team goes, but when they were struggling financially, nobody was there to assist them either. So what are they supposed to do, Mepolin?
We have tried everything in our power to try to get hold of the management and sit down and come up with ideas, because we really knew that who run a team of football needs money, and we had ideas as supporters, but we were never heard by the management. So that was the problem. We tried everything in our power to say, let us come to the table, let us sit down, let us see.
Let me play the devil's advocate here, Mepolin. The one way that the supporters could have shown that they want to help Moroka Swallows Football Club was every single game was supposed to be packed to the rafters. Putting your money in getting into the stadium, you mentioned your whole family. It was supposed to be that every home game is packed to the rafters. I watched all the games. It wasn't so. So my then thing is, as the supporters, I hear the shareholders bit, and I'm going to get back to them. But as the supporters, do we really have a leg to stand on when we didn't go and pack out the stadium every single game to help the team?
Listen, there are things that need to be told to supporters. Supporters had branches. Supporters had their office, their NEC. Their supporters have structures. So if the structures of supporters are not being recognized by the management, how are they expecting those structures to rally supporters to go and attend games? Because when we have issues, we are expected to be listened to. So if they don't listen to us, how were we supposed to go and support the team at the stadium when everything is wrong? Because the with us was that we were never recognized at all. How do you support a company or a business that doesn't recognize you at all?
Let me hear one of your grievances. What was one of your grievances that you would have loved to speak to management about?
Immediately after the team came into the league, they should have called supporters and say, here we are now, we are in the big league. Let us start now mobilizing supporters, the grievances, the ideas, but that never happened.
But Mepolin, you don't need them to tell you to come to the stadium. You're a supporter, no. You know when the games are, you pay your money, you go to the stadium. Ours in support is to sit in the stands, pay our money, buy the jersey, and scream the team's name. Isn't that what our job is as supporters?
How do you go and support a team that doesn't recognize you?
How many supporters are there? Imagine if they had to go around recognizing every supporter. I think, Mepolin, and I hear you. You're a fan who's sad that your team is going, but I think we need to be fair as well. I think we need to have some doldrum of fairness to say, you can't consult every single fan. You can't make decisions on running a team via supporters as well. Especially, if you want to win the favor of those that are running the team, you fill the stadium and you say, look what we're doing for you. Okay. Thank you very much for that one there. I just needed to address the supporters part because
I'm a supporter as well.
I know that. And hence I'm saying to you, I'm speaking to you here as a shareholder. I'm speaking to you as a shareholder. The supporter.
I want to speak as both.
No, the supporter I see. I don't think that I think the team owes the supporters a statement to say, hey guys, we've sold the team and send out communication to the supporters. But I don't think the day-to-day decisions need to be addressed with the supporters, because this is a team, you've gotten a mail before of the team expressing how difficult it is to run a team financially. The millions that it takes.
I appreciate that.
You were sent that.
You got that from me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You were sent that. Hence, I'm saying you were sent that.
True.
So that's because you're a shareholder. But from a supporter's point of view, I don't think that the team owes every single supporter every detail of every day. But from a shareholder's point of view, which you say you are, which you've provided proof that you are, I get that. Communication was supposed to be done with you. What is your grievance now? Are you saying, I want my money back? Are you saying you want to be consulted? What is your grievance now with the sale of the team?
Look, we are where we are now, right now, because of absence of stakeholder relationship. That's what we actually were yearning for from the word go. That whoever you are, you have come in here, you found us, at least there is something that you can get from us in terms of advice and everything else. And all you need to do is to make this a creative, a conducive environment for us to work with you. And it never happened. And Me Pauline actually left it halfway when she said we were not recognized. We were threatened with legal action when we tried to meet Undata Mkhasho in August 2022. He threatened us with legal action. That this thing is now going to his lawyers. He doesn't want to meet supporters. And it would be a nightmare to try and run a company through the supporters. But we play a big role here. We are the spiritual owners of this club. And we have structures, and those structures, we want them running so that they can assist the club. And that could have happened easily. I'll tell you one thing. Nobody knows that in March 2020, like March last year, some of us decided to do things our way in any way, irrespective of the situation. We got wind of a company of a company that was sponsoring cricket, and they were pulling out of there. In fact, the contract was coming to an end with cricket sponsorship, and we tried to search for their numbers, and we got to speak to someone who was the former MD, and he says, "Guys, I'm no longer involved in there." And he led us to the marketing director of the company, and the guy said to us, we communicated with him, because right now we're trying to actually work from outside the confines of the club, because the club didn't want to recognize us, didn't want to work with us. It actually was bad-mouthing us, and we wanted to actually help the club and expecting nothing in return.
Let me ask you this, though. What is your grievance? What is your actual grievance? If I've got, I know that David is listening, I know that Lesufi is listening. What is your grievance?
My grievance, in fact, it's not my grievance, it's our grievance, is that now PSL is made to sit and preside over incinerating and obliterating one of the, well-known brands of this country, the third one, in a space of 5 years. That is our grievance, and we could have done something to save it. But anyway, besides that, we should have been informed, as per the promise from Lesufi when he started this crusade, that we will be informed of any developments in this club. And it never happened. That is part of the grievance.
I've got somebody else on the line who's part of your...
I also want to mention as well here that we lined up a sponsorship. Supporters lined up a possible sponsorship. I won't mention the name. We spoke to the marketing director. He agreed to speak to us. We wrote to him. We copied David. We copied Lesufi. We copied Sipotlulu, thanking the potential sponsor. And in turn, we wrote to all of them and copied the potential sponsor to say, speak to each other.
Who was the sponsor you spoke to?
All they wanted was a technical offer. That's all that they wanted.
Another one of
3 months later, when we spoke to Sipotlulu, he said, I saw it, I didn't do anything, it's sitting with the sponsorship team. And who is in the sponsorship committee of Swallows? He mentioned only one name, David Mkhasho.
Let's go to another one of the directors of Moroka Swallows Football Club who feels aggrieved. Hi.
Yes, sir.
Who am I speaking to?
Solomon Simango.
That is Solomon Simango. You're listed in the initial document, in the certificate issued by the Commission of Companies and Intellectual Property Commission of South Africa. You are listed as a director. Is it correct?
Correct.
Well, you were listed as a director, not anymore.
Come again?
I'm saying you were a director, or you still are a director of Swallows?
As far as I know, I'm still the director.
I mean, I'm looking at the latest document from the registration certificate of Swallows. I don't see your name here, but nonetheless, as a director of Swallows, you have a grievance against the team being sold?
Not necessarily that I have a grievance, but let me extend my gratitude to you for also consulting us with regard to this issue of the sale, and also try to put something straightforward here. I would wish that we leave Mr. Lesufi out of this, since we all know that he has resigned from the affairs of the team, and maybe concentrate on those that are still there. That's point number one. Point number two, yes, the team is being sold. I also did not know as a director, and I hear it from the media, just like Mr. Mayekiso is saying there. And also allow me to touch on the issue of them saying we've been vilifying each other. Yes, on our side, from the supporters desk, we haven't been calling meetings as we should have. And that resulted in some ways creating a situation of some supporters being disgruntled or being dissatisfied. So some of the grievances that Mr. Mayekis is trying to bring forth are genuine, so to say, because we haven't been calling supporters meetings. Ms. Paulina has also came on board to say, how do you support a team that does not recognize you? So it's not about recognition.
That is wrong. If I can just ask, I'm terribly sorry to jump in there. Did you pay money and buy shares of Moroka Swallows when they were on offer?
Yes, at some point I did buy shares, and we also have the certificate, but I don't have it with me now.
And then you were made a director of the company, correct?
Yes.
And no communication has come to you in terms of what that means for the money you've invested or the fact that the team is getting sold. You were not consulted, is what you're saying?
We have had several shareholders meetings at Beshwood. That needs to be cleared. We have had several meetings at Beshwood Hotel where the management or the directors would share some information with the supporters. At some point, we tried with the supporters because we want to divide the meeting to say only those that have bought shares should attend. And at the entrance, we request to see certificates so that we are able to allow people, so that we do not allow people who do not have shares and end up discussing issues with those that are not in good standing.
All right, thank you. If we can just hold it there, because I want to take the first citizen, PANYAZA LESUFI, who joins us now on the line. I'm sure he's had a hectic day with all that's been happening in the country, but giving us a couple of minutes to have a word with us as far as this matter is concerned. Dr. LeSufi, thank you so much for joining us. Really always appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Andile. I'm told to Kuluma Andile.
I see. Dr. LeSufi, I wouldn't have...
I'm hosting international guests that came at the inauguration, but I felt...
I wouldn't have come to you because, as far as I know, you've resigned from all matters Moroka Swallows. So I don't think that you'd have had, in my books, I don't think that you'd have had anything to do with concerning the sale of the club. But perhaps you can, we've heard your name did come up, and he's sitting right here. Tulani Mayekiso did mention your name, and you know the communication he's had with you. But do you care perhaps to put us up to speed as to your involvement and if you'd have anything to do with what's currently happening with Swallows?
Indeed, Andile, and thanks for the opportunity, Andile. And I'm really sorry that I'm hosting international guests.
No, we were grateful for your time.
I'm really sorry. Andile, maybe to put it on record, indeed, when I was appointed or elected as the Premier of the province, I felt that I needed to concentrate on my tasks on government-related matters. So I relinquished my day-to-day responsibilities of Moroka Swallows. And that is very important because the context that needs to be explained so that when you come to the issue of the crowdfunding, you can understand the context. And there are three things that I want to clarify first. Can you tell me who will be hurt most when a team like Moroka Swallows is on sale? A person that put their own resources, getting another team, buy that team, work very hard and ensure that for 4 seasons, without sponsorship, that team survives. And if that team has to go down, who will be the big loser? Secondly, Andile, what you must do with a team that average 51 supporters per game We're playing Sundowns. We're playing Sundowns at Dobsonville Stadium. We averaged almost 51 supporters. We're playing Pirates at Dobsonville Stadium. We're averaging almost 70 or so supporters. And of those supporters, almost half probably got those tickets free. Thirdly, which is sad, what happens when a team puts a sponsorship proposal to authorities that run football, not once, not twice, not 3 times, and the sponsorship is declined? And in that environment, that very, very difficult environment, players' salaries are not paid. And at that difficult environment, the team may not even field players to go and perform, or they can go to a match. And those supporters are quiet. They've never come out to say, we are shareholders, we want to assist, we want to provide the necessary assistance. It's very difficult, and I'm very sympathetic to Mr. David Mukhasha. And I really feel that people who don't understand the difficulty of running this particular team will make the noise. To have 4 seasons, and 4 seasons, no sponsorship, 2 seasons almost relegated, and you want the poor chap to go to the 5th season. If he needs to pay salaries for 1 month, the PSL will expel them. That's the judgment PSL has already taken. Or you risk where a team will be relegated because they can't acquire good players. And what brought this team where it is, and I want just to quickly outline those things. It's 5 things that brought the team where it is. We tried the crowdfunding. I think that's the people that are in our studio. Besides, because I mean, if I have to complain about crowdfunding, it's me. The biggest contributor of that crowdfunding is me and my close friends. All other people that are making the noise that I'm making, I'm not saying it's not important. All people that are making the noise that they've made, the total amount of money they've contributed is 275,000. I want that to be clear. It's 275,000.
In a status that cost how much?
No. I'm just saying the money that came through crowdfunding, it was 275,000, excluding, as I say, my contribution and those that are very close to me. So the general public, and I'm not saying it's insignificant. I'm just trying to demonstrate that it could not carry the team. And when the contributions were made, it was during COVID. And if you go through COVID regulations at that time, the teams needed to camp literally every day or stay at a hotel at that particular moment. So those particular resources were not only exhausted, were insignificant, and they could not assist the team. The second point that I want to clarify, crowdfunding has its own regulations. And when those regulations were brought to our attention, because it was an institution that came to us to say, we'll do this thing on your behalf, so that we can record who, we can provide the relevant information, we can update them, and we can send a communique to them. And we agreed to that institution. Unfortunately, that institution went down. It went down in a manner that it was very, very difficult for the communication to happen. And we had to deal with that communication through the office of Ubabtuli. And I want you to thank him for the part that is played to ensure these things is done. So we committed and we put that amount of money, that is around 300,000, but it will be refunded to people that need to be refunded after they verified the relevant information, obviously with the necessary interest that need to be paid. Because those particular people put their resources to assist this institution. That's one part that I felt that I need to clarify as quickly as possible. So there's no one that have lost. I hear an echo until I'm not sure.
No, we can hear you clearly, Premier.
Okay.
So if you could please go on.
Okay. So there's no one that will say that they've lost their resources and therefore it means their funds have gone down the drain. That's incorrect. And that's the point that I felt that we should. The second point, Andile, when we registered the team initially, it was registered as Swallows FC. And what happened is that many people felt, no, this is not Moroka Swallows, this is not, and that is why I'm not attending games, that is why I'm not buying the jerseys, that is why I'm not supporting the team. Because reality is that when the team came back, your ordinary Swallows supporters that you thought you have attracted never came back with the team. If you can track our support base, people that are paying membership fee of Swallows, there are 17. that are state membership fees. So we never got the numbers of the people that said they're supporters of Moroka Swallows. And that, by extension, it meant that if a sponsorship needs your supporters base, you can't provide that supporters base because it's embarrassing the numbers that you have. If you check the attendance at the game, it's embarrassing. It's not the numbers that you need. Then if you check also the support that you need to get on extra revenue things like your jersey, replica jerseys and all those things. If I can show or ask before I left and ask that moment, Morasha to show you the numbers. They're not convincing. The third point that I want to bring to the attention of the supporters, to host a game, say a Sundowns game, the category is something I'm told, or a Chiefs game, you pay not less than 300,000 to host that particular game. It's security, cleaning, stadium management, and all these things. And after that, what kind of amount do you get in return from gate taking? 11,000. So what kind of a business will continue to succeed when you have to pay almost 200,000 to host a soccer match and you've got 11,000 from your revenue? So the difficulties of running that institution, and I have to think, when I left, I have to say to Tate Mogashoa, run this institution, whatever that you can try, please try to do it. And he has tried everything for 4 seasons. I'm not saying that the team has been sold. I saw, and I'm a Southern supporter myself, and the chairperson has been consulting me on many of the issues. We said that let's allow this process to go through, and then we'll have a stakeholder engagement where you'll brief the supporters, brief everyone that is aggrieved, because you can't brief them when you don't have the necessary information at your disposal. The last point, Andile, and thanks for allowing this particular time, is that when you do crowdfunding, it's you must be I don't know what you call it in commercial language, Andile, please assist me. You must be authorized to do financial transactions. So what do you call this thing? So you must be.
Must be a financial authorities provider. Yeah, you need the FSP number in order to do so. Yes.
Yes. So we needed, because the institution that approached us, because you can't just take public funds.
Yeah, FSP is the body of authority that you need to get acquainted with.
So the institution that collected that information had that thing. So we couldn't continue to communicate on their behalf when they collapsed, because we don't have the FSC or the financial whatever, and we can't trade on the basis of that. So we needed to clear that aspect. And when we clear it, and it took long, unfortunately, when we clear it, and thereafter then go back to people that have given their resources, because you need to be an authorized person to it. So it will be cleared, and those people will be done. But I was on this last point, Andile. So when we move from Swallows to Moroka Swallows, which is something that broke the camel's back, all the debts that were associated with the old Moroka Swallows, FIFA brought almost 4 or 5 players that claimed that they were owned, and they needed those people to be paid, or the team will be either relegated, deregistered, or barred from signing new players. And how old are we now? We are almost 8 weeks or so before the kickoff, and that debt must be paid. And those particular individuals that have taken Moroka Swallows, the old Moroka Swallows, to FIFA, feel that they need to be paid. And the team appealed, and they lost. And that money is due. So those kind of resources need to be paid. So if we are not going to pay them, then the team will either be demoted, or the team will be barred, or the team will not perform, and the same supporters, what will they say? They will raise the issues of poor management. So the team is up. So whoever that can take over the team, run it, and feel free that they can campaign as Moroka Swallows. They are willing to come. I don't think Mr. Mogashoa can stop them. But the people that tried, like myself, where we took the team from Vela League or all the league until it came to those things, and we've lost a lot of resources because of the love of the team. We'll be the first one to share the pain. But I'm glad that there are players or people in our studio who say it's not about the money, it's about losing the team. And the pain it's more unbearable to some of us because we've done everything to restore this team. But unfortunately, there are things that are beyond our control that need to be attended, and Mr. Mkhasha tried his level best to manage these things. People can point fingers, people can shout the way they want to shout. Reality is that if you miss one game by not paying players, there is a judgment already by the TSL. The team will be expelled.
If you can just hold on to the line for me, Premier, if you can just hold on to the line for me, I want to take a quick break and then just clarify my understanding of what you've just given us, and in that very lengthy and very detailed understanding that you've given us. You can just give us a couple of seconds to come back to you. It's exactly 18:53 on the Mighty Metro FM. PANYAZA LESUFI, former president of Moroka Swallows and premier of Gauteng, taking time out from hosting dignitaries from around the world who'd come to the inauguration to answer just a couple of questions and give clarity on the sale of Moroka Swallows. Premier, if I can just ask, from my understanding of everything that you've just told us, the struggles of Moroka Swallows, and I think I said so to Mampolin, who called in, and I said, from a supporter's point of view, I don't think there's much conversation to have from my understanding. Because if you didn't put the money down to show support of the team, if you didn't fill the stadium every week, if you didn't buy the gear, you didn't show your support. So you aggrieved and you're complaining. That for me means less. But what I wanted to get to is, the shareholding, the crowdfunding, which most supported because, one, they loved the club and was a trust in you as well. Do you perhaps think there should have been a better communique from you guys to those particular people who gave the 275,000, which, yes, in the bigger pool of things, was a bit of a drop in the ocean, but we know that from the pockets of those that put it in was a huge amount of investment. Shouldn't there have been a better communication perhaps just to them to say, guys, this is where we are, this is what things look like, therefore we've taken a step to move this way and sell the team, and your monies then will be refunded with interest that will look like this?
Indeed, Andile, I agree. There should have been better communication. But there is someone that has confirmed that indeed we called meeting at Beirut to clarify, to explain how this thing is going to work. That we held this particular meeting to ensure each and every individual is aware where they stand. As I indicated, the institution that was contracted to deal with this matter unfortunately went down. And they went down because they are authorized a service provider. We are not. So to therefore communicate and do those things was a very long process, which, as I said, it took almost 3 years to be finalized. And it will be finalized, and everyone will be attended to. We should have communicated better, yes. But do we love to see Swallows going down? Definitely no. But should we watch and the team either being expelled, or watch the team either being liquidated, or watch when the team is going through the serious financial difficulties? Not that Mr. Mkhasha didn't try. It's well documented, the number of sponsorship that he tried to get, and the number of sponsorship that were declined. You can't say he didn't try to get either a technical sponsor for a jersey or to get something that can assist the players. You can't say he didn't try to recruit the best players to play and even to get the best coach in terms of Steve Khombela, because that was a commitment on its own. But what do you do when the history of the team itself is dragging you down? What do you do when FIFA says, these are 5 players that played for this team, you have to pay them? And it's millions of rands, and you don't have those particular resources. Obviously, you have to review. And if the financial model of the team as well is not working, what do you do? Do you just drag them and say, we have this particular name, or we've got this particular brand, let's dive into it? I don't think it's appropriate, it's correct. As I said, I've been off, but I'll meet with him so that we can deal with some of these outstanding matters. But to the supporters of Moroka Swallows, this is not the end. We took this team from nowhere to be where it is. Unfortunately, our history is our downfall. The way this team was managed previously, we thought we've cleaned it, and we thought that everything is back on track. We tried various strategies of using Swallows, not Moroka Swallows, just to ensure that we clean everything and everything must be done. But unfortunately, it can't be. And it's a history that is still haunting us, even today. And therefore, we can't just blame each other. I'm disappointed, actually, that the hard work and everything that they've done is going down to drain, purely because of matters that beyond either Mr. Mkhasha or the current team. I feel pity for the players. They fought to survive relegation. You can see their last 3 games. and you don't want them to be unemployed. So you have to protect their interests, and I think that's the processes that we find ourselves in. So to the Moroka Swallows family and supporters, we are sorry if we didn't communicate, but we didn't want to communicate something that is not final. And we didn't want to communicate something that is piecemeal. And I think at the right moment, Mr. David Mukasha will convene everyone and make that information public. It's very, very important to manage information nowadays. But it's also difficult to manage it because some of these things need to go in public institutions and people pick up information. So we'll work on that thing and improve it, Andile. And I really, really feel hurt, disappointed on behalf of the supporters that we are where we are, but I know it was inevitable. If the route that is being suggested now was not followed, because it happened during the election period, so I was not around, I was dealing with elections. But the route that is being suggested now, I really feel is inevitable. If you don't follow that route, the worst will happen, where either the team will be expelled by PSL, or it will be relegated, or the team itself will be demoted by FIFA, purely because we could meet their financial obligations.
Dr. PANYAZA Lesufi, Premier of Gauteng and, of course, former President of Moroka Swallows. Thank you so much, and congratulations once again for leading this province in the way that you do. People love it, people love you, and we can't wait for your next tenure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andile.
Appreciate it. PANYAZA Lesufi. Umzwil, you haven't been able to get a hold of him, you haven't been able to get the answers. There he is, with Amigos. He said a lot in that.
He did.
How do you feel now? You're going to get your money back with interest? Swallows is gone. There's nothing they could do about it, because it was either it goes this way or it goes the difficult way.
Not interested in the money, but anyway. Starters, I'm not making noise. Let it be clear. I'm not making noise. Maybe someone else is making noise. I'm speaking facts and I'm expressing my view. I'm not making noise. And secondly, a worthwhile discussion from Mr. Andile Lesufi. It's about maybe a year or two late in a sense. It again points to the absence of stakeholder relationship. Who could have done things better?
He says, I apologize for that.
Exactly. I apology accepted. And in the closing remarks, he says, it's not the end of it. We are here. We are not going anywhere. We know no other political or football home. So we'll be waiting, and we will be waiting in the wings to add value, to be recognized, to add value, and to help the club grow. And we need everybody, every stakeholder to be recognized. We're not going anywhere.
Shareholder and supporter of Moroka Swallows. Listen, if you feel I'm being harsh, you know, it's something that we've gone through before. Mamelodi Sundowns supporters, they know as well. We went through this, and I'm going to say it again. If you're a supporter of Moroka Swallows who feels disgruntled, I'm talking about just supporter, who've never attended a game, or who've attended less than half the games. You don't own a jersey that you bought with your own money, you know, a home and an away one. You don't spend your money on the team to take the whole family to the stadium. You're playing Sundowns, and 50 people have bought tickets. You're playing Orlando Pirates, 70 people have bought tickets. And you're going to stand up now and cry because the team is being sold? Cry me a river. Cry me a river. You are not a supporter. You are somebody who likes the color maroon. That's all you are. It's a conversation that is hurtful. To invest as much as what David Mukasha and Premier PANYAZA Lesufi have into the team, and I went to one of those crowdfunding meetings in Benoni at Birchwood, so I know about it. You know very well that David Mukasha has never been on the show, simply because we have not always seen eye to eye. So yeah, I was not happy with the running of the team, but it was a financial thing. And it's something that they've now recognized and said, guys, we've tried and we want our way out of it. How do you not stand there and say, here are people that tried all they could? Even in the face of Batibatonalbo and Andile, guys, you can do better. You got to rethink what support is. Maybe we should look at the word supporter versus fan, because a lot of you are fans. You're just blowing air. That's it. Just blowing air. Because support works differently. Look that word up. Be a supporter, not a fan. Pela. That's all me.